newspaper. Okay, so we want to go on and talk a little bit about Trump-Putin. Right?
The news you need to know. Delayed reaction.
Go to thedailydrift.com. Yeah, okay. I know you. It's been one of those days, isn't it? I'm kind of off my kilter a little bit here. I'm just out of sorts. So we're going to go. The Democrats and the MSM were just blindly frothing at the mouth that Trump was going to ignore Russia meddling in our election and that he wouldn't say anything because he's obviously guilty of collusion with the Russians, no matter the fact that there's absolutely no evidence. But let me, before we even say this, whether you call it meddling or whether you call it influencing, every country in the world tries to meddle or influence or affect the outcome of somebody else's election. Why? Because you want the person in office that is going to be best for you. We all do. We did it to the Israelis. Barack Obama spent our tax dollars to try and keep Benjamin Netanyahu from being reelected, right? Money and God knows Ukraine. What else he did.
Yep, money in it was Estonia, Ukraine.
Yes,
both?
Yeah, and we meddled in Ukraine. So it's across the board. Everybody does it. So number one, it's not a big criminal thing for you to say I'm meddling in the election because you know what? The Saudis gave millions and millions of dollars to Hillary Clinton. The one thing I would love to have seen is if instead of Putin saying, no, we didn't meddle, he should have said, hey, we tried to influence a little bit. And frankly, we wanted Hillary to win because she would have sold us the rest of your uranium. You know what I mean? I would love to have seen him just come out and say, of course we meddled. We were trying to get Hillary elected.
You know, the Warsaw visit, the Poland visit, which was such a triumph, as far as I know, as from what I saw, it was a triumph. Of course, you're not going to see it on the mainstream media, but Google his speech. The crowd loved him, and especially when he told them, by the way, there's a new gas station in town. We're going to have an opportunity for you to buy your energy somewhere else other than Russia so that you're not threatened. And we're not going to threaten your economic survival. You know, we're not going to threaten your economy. You can buy from us or the Russians. You'll probably want to buy from us. Yeah. I mean, that's a wonderful thing. But where does the collusion from Putin come in saying, and by the way, I'm going to compete and take your customers away? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. This whole game that the Democrats are playing is just illusion. It's allegation. It's innuendo.
Sleight of hand.
They had absolutely nothing. But Trump went right at it and not only brought it up once, but several times during this. I think it ended up being a 3 or 4 hour conversation. It went far longer than they expected.
And we still don't know everything that was said there.
And we don't. But this is Rex Tillerson, right, who, despite what Maxine Waters says, there was nobody in there. Rex Tillerson knows the Russians, knows foreign policy. He's a businessman. He comes on with a ton of experience. He knows what's going on. And this is what he had to say about the Trump-Putin meeting. Derek, you got track 2 ready. Let's play that.
President opened the meeting with President Putin by raising the concerns of the American people regarding Russian interference in the 2016 election. They had a very robust and lengthy exchange on the subject. The president pressed President Putin on more than one occasion regarding Russian involvement. President Putin denied such involvement, as I think he has in the past. The two leaders agreed, though, that this is a substantial hindrance in the ability of us to move the Russian-U.S. relationship forward, and agreed to exchange further work regarding commitments of non-interference in the affairs of the United States and our democratic process, as well as those of other countries. So more work to be done in that regard.
Okay, so of course, Putin's just going to, why would he? You've made such a big stink about it. I mean, frankly, I would love to have him said, yeah, we tried to influence. Why wouldn't we? It's in our best interest to influence.
Yep.
Let's all be honest. For crying out loud, we're all trying to influence the election.
Well, they were
you tried to influence
Ukraine.
It. I've tried to influence it. It's what we do.
I've cut commercials to try and influence the election.
The election,
right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So, we all do that. And for anybody, especially the Democrats, to say, oh, it's outrageous collusion, blah, 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 and it affected the election, is just utter nonsense, because there's no way, and you can see it on Twitter and you can see it on Facebook. Yes, the Americans voted. Our votes were not compromised, and we voted overwhelmingly under the constitutional system of the Electoral College for Donald J. Trump.
Yep.
And he's our president.
Yep.
And you don't have to like it.
You know, I'm really struck by the number of people I've heard this week, commentators who I knew they were not quite never Trump, but they were opposed to Trump, who said exactly that. You know what? I didn't really think Trump would work out this good. And it's phenomenal what he's doing now.
What can you not be happy with from the standpoint of, look, if nothing else, let's go black and white.
Of course.
You could have had Hillary Clinton in there right now. And God forbid, what would we be looking at right now under a Clinton administration?
Yeah.
You know? So just in a black and white.
And it wouldn't have been Justice What's-His-Face, that Obama tried to put up. It would have been another Sotomayor, another...
Yes.
Yeah, you'd have had 3 or 4 Supreme Court justices retiring immediately.
Yeah, I talked to a never-Trumper the other day, and while he's still a bit of a never-Trumper, he was at the point where it was like, I can't complain. We got Gorsuch, right?
Yeah.
Saved, literally. Saved the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And that's
and more to come.
If you want to call into the show, 734-822-1600. You can email me. You can always reach me at Gary@thedailydrift.com. I'm the easiest man in the world to get a hold of. You can get a hold of me on Twitter at GaryDailyDrift. Ed, what's your Twitter handle?
Ed at Ipsy, or at
Ipsy Ed.
Ed from Ipsy. I don't know.
You use it so seldom.
I know.
You need to get on there a little more. But the social media works, folks. That's all I can say. Get on Facebook, get on your Twitter, get on whatever other Gab. I use Gab once or twice a day. I try to get on Gab. And you'll get a little more edgy on Gab because they don't take people out and whatever. So it is what it is. But get on, and Twitter will suspend you. We've had some friends lately who get suspended on Twitter for sometimes outrageous things, sometimes not so outrageous, because they're not particularly fair. @Jack is a progressive. He's the guy that runs Twitter. Jack, what's his last name? Dorsey.
Okay.
Yeah, Jack Dorsey. Although...
That's a name that's new to me. Wow.
Although, @Jack, that's his handle, the majority shareholder of Twitter is, guess who? Saudi Arabian company. Didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
So when people say things about Muslims, they get suspended quite easily on Twitter. I haven't done a 12-hour suspension on Twitter before.
There was something that somebody said, I got suspended for saying this, and I immediately tweeted it out. Pictures and everything. I did not get suspended, but maybe that's because I'm not as big a player.
I can't tell you how the algorithms work. I think they get some people and they just get kind of cranky about it. You know what I mean? But here at The Drift, the show that gives you wings, we certainly try to get you out there and get you active because you know what? That's what's important. 2018 is coming up very, very quickly, and we want people to stay active. So,
hey, if you haven't called us before, you go to the head of the line. Give us a call. Tell us what you think about what Trump's doing so far, or what we were just talking about with the Tillerson, the elections.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
even Sarsour.
Yeah, let's take a call from Walter in Belleville. Walter, regular. Go ahead, Walter.
First-time caller.
You are not a first-time caller, my man, but that was good to hear from you, Walter. What do you got?
Hey, man, I want to ask you guys a question. Hugh Hewitt. You guys ever listen to him?
No, because he's not on this show, on this station anymore, thank goodness. So I don't listen to Hugh Hewitt.
I do.
Do you?
I
couldn't tell you what
I
station.
have his podcast, and I listen to him later.
Yeah. But what about him?
How in on God's earth did that guy be on the radio for 3 hours of nonsense? The guy is so back and forth on Donald Trump and wishy-washy. First he's for Donald Trump. He was one of those clowns that joined in with the enemies, as usual, during the time those liars, those women, what they lied on Donald Trump talking about sexual harassment. He joined right in. He joined in that chorus and said, I think Donald Trump needs to step down and let Mike Pence come step in. You hear that clown when he said that?
Yeah, I don't pay any attention to a guy like Hugh Hewitt, but he was saying things like that. But he was very anti-Trump back in the day, and that's why he's no longer on this station. So.
He still say little stupid stuff every now and then. I wouldn't trust that guy from here to the end of my nose, man.
Well, then don't listen to him. I'll tell you, Walter, I listen to Hewitt, and I think of him as a self-promoting guy's voice grates on me. He has some really good guests. When he has Larry Arnn on Fridays, that's primarily why I got the podcast, so I don't miss Larry Arnn and some of the guests that he has on. But just, if that's what you want to listen to, if fine. If you don't want to...
I got a beef with Larry Arnn in Hillsdale. They never return any of my emails.
Right.
I've been trying to get them to work with me at the Current and on this radio show. And so if anyone from Hillsdale
drive down there and talk to him.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Let's go get Antifa on him, shall we? If anyone out there knows, let's do that. What else you got, Walter? Because we're going to take a break.
Let me say this real quick. Hugh Hewitt has joined that this is up to date. He has joined that chorus about Donald Trump's tweets. He's criticized Donald Trump nonstop. That clown need to be reduced down to 30 minutes, and thank God he's not on this station.
Yeah, that's great.
And also, the Republicans, who are these clowns? I want to know every last one of their names that's joining in that chorus against Donald Trump, as usual, about he needs to say something to Vladimir Putin about the election.
Well, he did.
Those crooks.
Yeah, he did, and I think these are just never-Trumpers who just aren't happy with Trump. And again, they're elitists. Their power base is being affected because Trump is in Washington. And I don't care what. I'll take the tweets, even the ones that I think are probably not so smart. I'm going to take them because you know what?
You can't criticize Donald Trump's tweets, or Walter's going to call into that other station and complain about you.
All right, Walter.
Real quick, that woman that was speaking.
Sarsour.
Did you guys pick up on her hatred toward America?
Oh, absolutely.
She should be in prison right now.
She should be.
She said that they don't have to assimilate.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's why a woman like that doesn't belong in this country. Go somewhere else if you don't want to be assimilating to part of the country. All right, Walter, take care. We're going to take a break. Okay, thank you very much. Derek, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll finish up with talking about CNN and their outrageous reaction to tweets. All right, see you on the other side. I'm Gary Wellings, Chief Editor of The Current and The Daily Drift. With today's internet environment, it's easy to get information overload. The best way to process this information and cut through the internet chatter is to get your news delivered in a concise and effective manner. Get the news you need to know at thedailydrift.com. Check out The Daily Drift, one of the fastest growing websites around. At The Daily Drift, I find the local, state, national, and international stories you won't get from the mainstream media, and I make it easy for you to link to them. You'll also get original common sense opinions from local writers. You can even get a free subscription that will deliver a link to your email inbox every day for free. You'll also get instant access to all archived podcasts of the Drift Radio Show and links to the best articles, opinions, and websites. Go to www.thedailydrift.com. That's the news you'll need to know at thedailydrift.com.
Whether you're moving across town or across country, you can always rely on Two Men in a Truck for home, business, and long-distance moving. Two Men in a Truck sells boxes and can provide expert advice on packing your valuable items. Need storage? Visit Two Men in a Truck's new 12,000 square foot climate-regulated facility. Long and short-term options available. Two Men in a Truck. Dino Drive off Jackson, west of Baker. Call 734-973-6683. Two Men and a Truck. Movers that care.
Let Lawrence Maintenance give your fireplace a brand new look. Call 734-925-2050 and ask for the Chimney Guy. They'll repair or completely rebuild your chimney, clean or replace your chimney liner, and they also install wood stoves. They do gas inserts, dampers, and gas logs. If decking is what you need, they can repair or refinish your deck, install railings on your porch or deck, and completely power wash your house. Call 734-925-2050 or visit chimneyanddeckmaintenance.com.
You're catching the drift. Gary Wellings and the Drift on Wham Talk 1600. Call 734-822-1600 to join in the discussion.
And welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to catch our drift. Me and Ipsy Ed hanging out in the studio on a beautiful Saturday.
Yeah.
Not too hot outside, kind of nice.
It's a nice, pleasant day.
A nice, pleasant day. Not too hot and humid like it has a tendency to get this time of year. All right, let's take care of our sponsor of this segment, Dalton Environmental Cleaning. If you have not gotten your ducts cleaned either at your home or office, put a call into 877-DALTONS. That's 877-325-8667. And if you go to Current, get a copy of the Current, or go to currentonline.com. That's COURANT online.com.